Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Yonga bagambye omusajja tumugambye ayite omusajja aganye yatugambye tayagala nakutulaba. You started the battle, finish it. Mwali mulowooza nti muli bagezi nnyo. I was watching from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday tomorrow. They will be giving evidence on Zoom. And I was watching a meeting in the State House where they asked, what if this man has video clips? I have them, but I'm mature. Sisobola. Nemwatira omwana nge mwali bati kuku, I've exposed Albert Kuku. There was at that time a Chinese cell. Babuloni nga kigudde. Babuloni, Babuloni, Babuloni nga kigudde. Mama ndi mu programu kakubire. Babuloni nga kigudde. Kakati nkubuulira ate gundi Albert Kuku wanga Babuloni. Nkugamba. Otaka nakawandika ddi?
Yeah. 19th July 2012.
Losing by elections. The NRM was a number of elections and winners. Secondly, for a ruling party to lose a by-election doesn't necessarily mean losing support. Where the ruling party registered the majority of seats in parliament, the voters may decide to check it by electing opposition candidates in the subsequent elections. Museveni kye bamukola red paper it's do or die in Kayunga. Either we lose or they get. What is in Kayunga? These are money makers. The dombos, the money makers. Because a ruling party cannot fail to win a by-election for two factors. One,
LC 5 seat. Next to the Prime Minister. Next to President.
What you from Museveni can accept Nabu Kenya, who organized a birthday party for Museveni, a fake one, a rotten cake, rotten mangoes, rotten pineapples, and Museveni considered the defeat when Nabu Kenya won the way by election. He is also the incumbent MP for that area.
Yes.
Can you compare, apart from having a gold mine in those areas, they have not declared, ask in whether there is no largest is in a forest to wait agana kusima.
But Kayunga, what a man going to get idea Kayunga.
Yes, and this man, Aliye Kayunga, Kajja Kola. Muganda wakuwasiza omukazi oba omugagga yenna, nakuwasiza omukazi amuzaalamu n'abaana. This man who is popular has been installed.
Mwonge.
Tagenda kufuna maani. Bajja kubanga amasimu.
Bakasala bamurejectinza
basolo ba. Kubuulira. Bajja kubanga amasimu. Kakati bavudde ku interest za party. Two, nalabye omusajja we Kayunga yala this. If airlines have been kegged, how can a rat shout? Nanya Bobi Wine okuja. I was the chairman of the Electoral Commission. When did he assume those powers? Ndineriye kawempe ebyayasama bubayita mu Kampala yalowooza ajja kujja mu Kampala. Those are dangerous fellows. The dombos oyalye ewe egindye tebamatira mbeera eri ku nsi boleero bakankana ono gonde
bakandivo
liwogganira Kayunga
abantu basibiddwa
kakati nkugamba
Tamale NUP egenda mu court.
For example, Singaporean Prime Minister Kwan Lee states in his book that Singapore, the opposition in Singapore tweaked his party when they did not defeat the candidates in many constituencies and the ruling party MPs went through unopposed before the actual general election. This sent alarming messages to the voters that the ruling party would lack checks in the parliament. And therefore, on election day, the voters returned the few opposition candidates who stood. The opposition trick worked perfectly well. The voters voted the opposition to retain checks in the parliament and to avoid the single party arrangement in case the ruling party took over parliament.
Okay.
Ate basoma balina obudde baavu. Ate oyo talina no control tasoma ngana ku political science. tamanyi international nababuuza nti mutubuulire police ina library side similar cases. That's why I admired it Mukunda. Whenever I went to Mukunda, I found him reading his Mossad books.
Okay.
Cases are similar. Twaina wano omusajja ku Uganda ku WBS nga kuliko omusajja Dr. Derek otekanga kusomesa ki bana abawa nabatasobola ku accessinga that information.
Okay.
Kakati Singapore bateekawo okulonda ku nomination day of opposition constituency ne bazireka ezimu ne bayita mwana opposite. The population was alerted. If we don't vote the opposition people, but bagenda kudominating. The election date wali wa government yayitamu. Yes. Bapulaninga. Tituyinza kudya. In fact, even in law, a party that has already the 2/3 majority, there is no judge, sensible judge, as well as kujeba. This one has already secured.
NRM yajanyiza ne government nga kitwa Kayunga kisigenda okubera bula wagenda ku election kigenda okubera mu Mansimbi kigenda okubera emitiana
aretunga omukazi yewaana namufinyisiza n'olubuto namusiize n'ensiku but you are accumulating evidence against you. These people are exposing you. NRM that went these bills are not Museveni supporters. Whoever is doing this is not Museveni supporter.
NP gamale kaluka biddwa.
Yes, obviously.
Ochikiriza.
Obviously. Hatika soko libyo byobusiro. Ate express yetimu ekuba amayinji. Ompira referee wala mwalali ate kuba amayinji. Why do you rape a woman? Can you rape a prostitute when you have money? Have you ever seen bad black claiming, lodging a rape case in any court of law?
No.
Yes. You cannot rape a prostitute because voters are like prostitutes. You deliver the services. Let's send a music by Katikamba Boost. Magazine Yagama and Mukupadisi model. Where is the money that is reflected in you? You are choosing Uganda Land Board, yes, of evicting people. Ola gebi apa byafudde ku kyapa cyane.
Yapa 10 biramba.
Anti byafudde ku ttaka lyani. Because if government wants to buy land, the land road comes, they send their government values the land, compensate that man.
Yes.
Kati government n'abakoba would start by stating us twaguze ettaka mu Kayunga muno ne land road n'avaayo. Kati abasenze tubawe ebyabo. Land road n'atuwa a copy of the check.
Yes.
Bulanda
yakole
change in, garbage out.
Ne mzee Tamale bwobanga gwe president Museveni kasera kano otudde mu ntebe nga wasirize timu yokola ndifunga ne bobi nti yageze please mzee Tamale
Museveni
bobi yageze Kayunga n'ofusinga ne margin ya bululu 5 just
Museveni ayina abamukoleramu badombo bakolera dombo ayina amukozesa era buli dombo jana agenda bajja kuba violence.
Should you expect
and his people rejected him long time ago. You are dealing with the reject. Dombo ayina yamuteeka wow. He is the cause of violence. Ngugamba. In this case, even popular ruling party candidates who did not go through and opposed lost to the opposition. Secondly, ruling party supporters voted the opposition because they believed that their party's survival had already been preserved. Why do you kill people when you have already got? Until by-election yombaka parliament, NRM is do or die.
Going
majority. How? Ndio msajja ina bakaza bana yakote house. Kagabi aniya genda kusonyu.
Tewali
agenda kusonyu. Kagabi nkugamba nti the results, the supporters of the ruling party decided not to turn up. For the earlier results had restored their confidence that their party had already won, and the opposition that feared the unchecked dominance of the ruling party turned up in large numbers. Another situation where bano bali tudde wansi ne baba nuku yabakubaite Uganda ne gundi a storm erekamwe wayimiridde. How could you be swept throughout Uganda? Ate n'omwana eyita mwana oposta traffic.
NRM is claiming baneseka dokweddiza Buganda balani banikidde Kayunga
mulepinga bakazi rape. This was open rape and Museveni cannot support this. Heads will roll in the
Are you sure? Simusanyufu nokuba nti bawangude
yobe yagenda yola bayo violence. Yes. The problem is Dombo yimukoleramu.
Okay.
Kugamba. Another situation is where ruling party is given a blank check because of the prevailing political environment. Politics at times is like a love relationship. Love suffers from diminishing returns. In his book, Julius Caesar Shakespeare tells us that when love starts to sicken and decay, it uses an enforced ceremony, which is phosphorized. Take for example, 1986 to 90, the NRM was given a blank check by the population.
Blank check. Just automatic.
Yes. Yes. But I know as a political scientist that when you overstay, system overstays in power, it develops political inertia. Okay. The NRM was given a blank check by the people of Uganda who had borne the atrocities of Obote and it was governments. At that time, the NRA was dominated by the Baganda and the Banyankole. The NRA suffered from ministers who came from other tribes. It was dominated by those from the bush. The NRA was also dominated by Banyankole. This explains why like Dr. Alex Ofumbi who was running a clinic at Lyantonde and the Okecho, Dr. Bata took center stage because they were not from Buganda or Ankole. These and people like Teddy Wamuse gave the NRM the national outlook on addition to this ideology. Although the NRM said the members of Hamba Education, this was not considered a serious matter at this time. Soldiers became Wabana Bafe. Nobody at this stage had the time to waste by looking at the shapes of their noses. These were non-issues at the time. Uganda had more important issues occupying their minds. Abantu bakuwa blank check.
Yes.
NRM was given a blank check. But the population.
Yeah.
Ngo bibula mu ntiri Banyankole sonyi bikiko bindi yarudda. Uwa. Ngati wali.
Kasojera ku ticket NRM. Tubakomazo ku bantu oyingidde.
Ne kugamba point eyokubiri kulaga nti NRM was given a blank check. A blank check at that time. This explains why no Banyarwanda officers occupied very important government posts which did not attract attention from the public. They had other important things that occupied their minds there. These simple matters which have taken center stage today. However, by 1996, things had changed. Obubbi. Kubanga golowooza, bano balowooza. Tibwe babba ssente za service delivery bajja bakuba emigo. Toyinza gamba nti Museveni abawadde ssente mugule ennyama n'ebyokulya nti abantu bawe walagi tufisse. The Greekers will fight you. Violence. The social violence is that the money that Museveni gave these people for service delivery in these areas has been taken. As a result, bakubi.
Kati tumulemu katugenda tudda tumenso kutomatino UP egenda kudukira mu court esubireyo ki bwazimana bwenkanya oba
ngenda kubuulira wano
agamba tosuubiza okuba tuteeka obutawo online babwenda babwita gabenga osobola okufuna
bajja kufuna
agambye songa gikole nega
kati kugamba tunuulira wano nti bano bamunda babikola to embarrass government. These are inside. Yes, having just taken the money, percent bazibye kati batute 5 billion ogenda kubala banga bagula amayumba. Even hired mercenaries. We must make ourselves relevant to Museveni. You are spoiling Museveni's record. How the people who write Museveni's legacy. Kati tunawandika katako kensinga okwagala Museveni the revolutionary. When I look at it, kati nempandika, I find the time to defend. Okujako an informer, nganze amanyi, yababikola, siba Museveni. No, they are hiding bayina kyaba. And stop dragging the army into these things. Bayina go bagala babulaka listing. Yes. Kakati nkugamba, nti akalulu akaabwe kennyini, invisible hand yakonoona, Museveni aveeko. Akabwe kenyini akabiri 10 internal party elections. Nakuwandika negamba. For example, heaps of NRM ballot papers were sold openly in Kampala from the committee's offices and homes of the members of the committee. Omukazi Simaiba Mwitangani was a Mugis woman. What the year disappeared like a gonorrhea. I don't see where she is. Magoma. Batakawaka Choka Magoma. Kabo will come at Ngogam. The heaps and homes of members of the committee. The price ranged between 5 million and 10, depending on the competitiveness in a particular constituency. Secondly, the ballots were printed by the New Vision, and surprisingly, the management did not come out to explain the source of these heaps and heaps of ballot papers on the market. The printer had an obligation to protect the ballots. Amazingly, the NRM Electoral Commission did not come out to explain the source of these ballot papers. In Uganda, for example, it took weeks for the NRM members to receive the ballot papers, in spite of the fact that a member of the committee, Jerry Kayonde, hails from this area. The only answer to this was to undermine Karule Sengo, who was tussling it out with the incumbent Mrs. Muyinda. This confusion was deliberately done by an invisible hand. In their desperation, those NRM members who had lost sold to the NRM card, solicited support from NRM bigwigs. This was intended in the process. The determining factor as to who would get the party card moved from the election process to individuals at the party headquarters. Nono tango tengo wakola. Basoka kuno nakabo. Kuba bagala kukotolinga bastugizi ngobe batadde egindi. Alukwati kyotera zenyi bagamba. Gundi Kayanja yagala okufuga district ng'abaleeta basemakula bandi bamulinda foutu him. Omuntu asomala omujjayo. This is the problem with the people choosing successors. But president bonna. Yes. Obato kyamufuga. Wants to be his own man. Kakati bayagala okusuula kasolo baleeta owaabwe. Has never uttered a word in parliament. Nga bagala kutunda ettaka ly'Essango Bay. Kati what is happening? Gundi Kisekulu naye bwe yalabye nga baagala okubba ettaka lya disitulikiti disitulikiti yeyagala okudeveloping bakutte muganda wa Kisekulu nti ayambala ebyambalo by'amagye n'akola road block. Tumwebeze naye mwana gwe towummula olina ebizibu bingi ate era nejjo terikooti mulezi gwi wakitova waffe ku ttaka ly'Essango Bay nako mubalekera abewaffe bakalye. Yes.
Okay.
Ate kati bagamba nga batwalayo balaalo. That's where I put Museveni.
Kusango Bay.
Nti Museveni yawamba ettaka atwaleyo abalaalo.
The issue was bantu kuvaako basimbeko ebinazi.
Egombolola y'ekabira ejjudde awo.
Egombolola namba.
Ey'ekabira. Ekabira. Owangulayo Museveni. Ekabira. Nga bwolaba Lwera bw'atambula bw'ati. Atuuka e Tanzania. Egombolola y'ekabira yonna these are cattle keepers.
Okay.
You can think that you are in Mbalala. Ndakai. Ekochi. 60% bagundi abakochi bakolanga 55% about 60 40 bachi. So when these people talk, you don't need to transfer balalo to Sango Bay. You need to mwebaza oba Museveni oba tumedda abazungu kabatwale tumwebaza kubanga tumwebaza ajonze ewaabwe yonna Museveni tamunya abemiryango balitta ayi sisi kate kutumwebaza awumule kati nkugamba nti abaali bagala pate kadi y'NRM ate baalaga wamu mwebakoze akavuyo bulungi naye nkugamba nti the loser in all of this is the national chairman Museveni.
President.
Yes. It is not because Museveni is not easy as accessed. This worked in favor of those. It normally works in the favor. Ndumano kuba sente dombo na duka ne munne sente ne gingi zasika de Kampala. Dombo na duka ne munne dombo ye program ku security. Here's why the election results were tight. That's not what you were saying?
Yes.
The reason for this is that both the candidates, the official and the independent were both sponsored by the invisible hand. This explains why Parliament, after wanted to usurp the powers of the president, In many cases, the official NRM candidate, the so-called independent, and the opposition belong to NRM.
The official NRM candidate, the independent,
yes,
and the opposition.
Babi NRM.
Ekyabadde Kayunga.
Babi NRM in all cases. Naye factions Babi. Nantaba, how could Nantaba sponsor a campaign? Alina sentiment.
Yabadde ne Majidi wali eri. Sente zabadde zize.
Ati nkubuuliza zivaawo.
Tumutunye.
Kakati nkugamba. Nti bano bonna babeera ba financing wa government. This was intended because whoever won would pay allegiance to the financiers, not to Museveni.
To the financiers.
The rules. That's why they decided to form NYO, to have an NRM which is not controlled by Museveni. The Museveni bw'abayita bano abalagira mu caucus. Katika bakolewe yao yatalagira mu caucus. Nino yi yao.
Mzee Tamale, you're confusing the nation. NUP is NRM. Nakwede yabadde NRM. He's going to court.
Let me tell you. It also explains the attitude of the current parliament to the president. It was hijacked on the election day by people who wanted to stop President Museveni before 2016. The fact the candidates who were loyal and committed to the president were financially starved, and their rivals, including the opposite candidates, were given massive financial support by them. Kakati nkugamba. Responding to this outcry from the victims of the deliberate elimination exercise discussed above, the president appointed the Kigongo team. He also sacked the Magoma team. However, the Kigongo team could not repair the damage. In a few cases, elections were repeated, but even those who came were part of the original scheme. They were financed by the invisible hand. This is comparable. What Museveni did to appoint the Kigongo committee and the Uganda committee was comparable to a parent who wants a pregnant daughter against bad boys. The advice comes too late because she has already conceived. It seems those behind the scheme read properly the president's mind and put up remedies in case any intervention was made. The elections had been properly and scientifically rigged. The majority of those who secured the NRM party cards were supported by the invisible hand that I pointed out earlier. Even those in opposition and the independent all belong to the same group. Realizing that the invisible hand had Museveni yaleta Kigongo committee katika ina byako. Kakati today, these people bafunamu.
Okay.
Why? Nti bafunamu Bobi Wine yajja kubamulisa. And these people fall into Bobi Wine's trap.
But our government. Yeah.
Bano siba Museveni. Bano banda mayininga Museveni na muhozi.
Bako bachindu kuchiyiwa. Technically.
Nga Museveni tasobola kuleta successor awunye. Yes. Era Museveni took a tactic move. Okudya abamiri yakyambadde n'abayita ekyankwanzi. To deny these people, to deny a possibility of forming another split in the party.
But our advisors.
Nabo babadde bagenda kubuuza bagambe nti ekyatuwanguza kyali ki kwesiba ku NRM. Ye family yakyambadde had crossed
nadda eri ku NUP.
Era tebalina candidate nti oleta family yakyambadde n'omuleetako y'omwana.
Nedda. Era singa yagamba nti ticket
n'oyo omwana was sponsored by people in the government. Somebody had the audacity. Has kyambadde been defeated? Oyo NRM yennyini.
Nga yabuuza.
Lwaki Muwanga Kivumbi yayitamu ebutambala against Kikulukuuyi supported by Kigongo. They wanted to humiliate Kigongo. Bate teyina bwalala.
Yes,
but kabanga n'abaana bakyo bagenda okufuna mu kiri kimu nti bano abali mu gavumenti tebamanyi nti bakolera bano.
Okay.
Tebamanyi nti bakolera bano. Nti tudde zaake yavudde ne mu nnyonyi ne mu nnyonyi yali akebera ku ssaawa tasanga nga
kawedde. yavude mu misingi.
Yes, why? Nti erinnya lye likola.
Ayina okubeera